Today's topic for discussion is motivation, meaning and its relationship to agriculture extension. Introduction. Indian agriculture needs continuous infusion of innovation and technology in ensuring food security, poverty reduction, and environmental sustainability. Agriculture is still the backbone of rural India, as the data of socio-economic caste census 2001 indicates that 31.26% of the total rural households are still broadly identified as poor farmers, where the main earner has an insecure and uncertain source of income. Increasing urbanization, globalization, and demand for high-value products have dramatically changed the global context for agriculture. Agriculture is critical for those farmers who live below the poverty line, as there is an uncertainty from the harvesting point of view. Indian agriculture shall be successful and effective when each farmer makes an optimum contribution towards scientific farming. The performance of a farmer depends upon the ability and willingness to work and the use of technology. Ability is the main function of education, training and experience, while willingness depends upon the level of motivation. The term motivation has been derived from the Latin root called movere, which connotes to move. That means the motive. A motive is an inner state that activates, energizes, or moves an individual and channelizes his or her behavior towards certain goals. It reflects an impulse, drive, or urge to move in a specific direction to reduce a need. Motives and needs are initiating and sustaining. Farmers' behavior is governed by myriad of needs which stems from human motives. Motivation is the art of understanding these motives and satisfying them to direct and sustain behavior towards the accomplishment of desired goals. It refers to the way in which urges, drives, desires, aspirations, stirrings, or needs direct, control, or explain the behavior of human beings. In the words of Stephen P. Robbins, I quote, "Motivation is the processes that accounts for an individual's intensity, direction, and persistence of efforts towards attaining a goal," unquote. Let us now talk about motivating factors. There are several factors which motivate farmers to take up new innovations, practices. For example, cultivation of new crops. This can be classified into two categories, which initiating motivating factors and principal motivating factors. These are indicated as follows. Initiating motivating factors can be listed as below. 1. New experience. 2. Affection. 3. Competitive situation. 4. Obligations of friendship. 5th. Curiosity. 6th. Authority. And 7. Hope. Principal motivating factors include the following. 1. Security. 2. Recognition. 3rd. Economic gain. 4th. Other gains. And 5th. Sense of achievement. Only the principal motivation factors ultimately influence farmers towards perceived practical benefit, which will continue to motivate farmers to take up new enterprise, such as fruit cultivation in areas where it is not grown at present. Let us also look into motivation in human needs. One of the prominent theories on human needs is Murray, who has forwarded 37 types of human needs. According to him, needs and desire constitute one of the key grounds for motivating human actions. Murray hints two types of human needs, that is, biological needs and socio-psychological needs. It is also equally important to understand the driving factors of human motivations. A need gives rise to a drive which may be defined as aroused awareness, and tendencies for human response and actions. The strength of a drive depends upon the strength of the stimuli generated by the related need. Drives of any nature are divided into the following types. First, the biological drives such as hunger, thirst, happiness, etc. Secondly, socio-psychological drive that is manifested as fear, anxiety, desire, aggression, and dependence. These drives are considered not related to physiological needs and therefore do not arise from human internal body. These are from social aspects of human needs. According to Canon, our bodily system constantly strives for an optimum level of functioning, maintaining a normal state of balance between input and output. For example, human hunger is put at the level of balance through an action of eating. Such a process of balancing of human physiology is called homeostasis. Let us also now understand types of motivation. There are two types of motivation which include intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation means that the individual's motivational stimuli are coming from within. The individual has a desire to perform a specific task because its results are in accordance with his belief systems or fulfills the desire, and therefore importance is attached to it. Our deep-rooted desires have the highest motivational power. Below are some examples: acceptance, curiosity, honor, independence, order, power, social contract, social status, etc. Extrinsic motivation means that individuals' motivational stimuli are coming from outside. In other words, our desire to perform a task are controlled by an outside source. Even though the stimuli are coming from outside, the result of performing the task will still be rewarding for the individual performing the task. Extrinsic motivation is external in nature. Below are some other examples: employee monthly award, benefit package, bonuses, and organized activities. Motivation results from the interactions among conscious and unconscious factors such as 1. Intensity of desire or need. 2. Incentive or reward value of the goal. 3. Expectations of the individual and his or her significant others. Let us also understand motivation and agricultural extension. In this age of high competition, motivation becomes a highly needed exercise. Our rural lives are confronted with various challenges in terms of development and sustainability of farming. Motivation exercises are needed in the field of rural economic development and agricultural activities. Motivational exercises thus play an important extension program in the field of agriculture. Motivational services are needed for the administrative purposes and in generating a vibrant rural economy in partnership with the farmers. Motivation as extended in the field of agriculture is a dynamic concept that can directly influence perceptions and ideas of farming communities. Motivational interventions come as an informal educational process directed towards the rural population. The intervention offers advice and information to help them solve their problems. Extension also aims to increase the efficiency of the family farming, increase production, and generally increase the standard of living of the farmers' families. It can be acknowledged that farmers already have a lot of knowledge about their environment and their farming systems. Through the extension programs, farmers are trained with technical skills to operate unfamiliar equipments, organizational skills to manage a group project, the skill to assess the economic aspects of technical advice given, or farm management skills for keeping records and allocating the use of farm resources and equipments. Through motivational initiatives, encourage and enable farmers in making decisions. With the increasing mobilization, the farmers are motivated to form organizations of their own. Extension, therefore, should be concerned with helping to set up structures and develop organizations for local farmers. It is also equally interesting to understand motivation and self-confidence building challenges. One of the main constraints to development that many farmers face is isolation and a feeling that there is little they can do to change their lives. Some farmers will have spent all their lives struggling in difficult circumstances to provide for their families with little support or encouragement. It is important for Extension to work closely with farmers, helping them to take the initiative and generally encouraging them to become involved in extension activities. An overall extension service should be based on these elements and should seek to promote them within the rural areas. The objective to mobilize our farmers for better performance would require an accountable agency which involved and responsible for rural development policies. The actualization of farmers' increased output processes would also need to have a two-way flow of ideas can occur at different stages. Now we look into the issues of motivation and extension programs from a retrospective perspective. A new farm practice or crop variety might produce good results at a research station but not do so well on a farmer's field. Trials on farmers' fields are an opportunity to test research recommendations and provide feedback for research staffs. Sometimes farmers discover problems with a recommendation which the research station failed to note. With the feedback, the recommendations can be adjusted accordingly. The two-way link between research, extension, and the farmer is fundamental to sound extension practices and should be a basic principle of extension activity. Motivation through education is not a mere process of filling empty minds with knowledge. Farmers already have a lot of knowledge about their environment and about their societies. Extension must build on motivating knowledge that farmers already possess. An extension agent, therefore, needs to learn as well as to teach. He must learn what farmers already know about agriculture, for example, how they describe and explain things that happen on their farms and what they know already about improved farming methods. It is time to understand learning motivation with some basic principles. Learning cannot rely on principles of coercion. There is a need to locate the common desire to learn. Adults find it more difficult than children to grasp new ideas and information. Also, unlike school teachers, the extension agent does not have a captive audience. Farmers can choose not to learn and they can choose not to listen to extension agents. People do not learn unless they feel that the learning will result in their being able to satisfy a need or want. People have wants or desires. These are less intense than needs, but still important. People desire approval and praise from their family and friends. They want prestige in their society and to be well thought of by their neighbors. These desires become more apparent once basic needs have been satisfied. Farmers and their families who are well fed and have good homes still strive for improvement. They want to produce more, and the extension agent, by helping them to improve their farming methods, can use this legitimate ambition to help them to improve the productivity of their farms. A farmer who is motivated to learn is likely to do so more rapidly and completely than a farmer who lacks motivation. This is very important principle for the extension agent to remember. Conclusion. In conclusion, motivation is a state of human desire to work up to their targeted activities. Motivation as a psychological feature arouses an organism to act towards a desired goal. From fulfilling a hungry stomach to efficient professionalism are all based on levels of motivation. Farmers and their families need to learn new skills, knowledge, and practice in order to improve their farming and other productive activities. As they do so, they develop new attitudes towards farming and the new practices and to extension itself. These in turn influence their future behavior. Extension agents, however, must also be prepared to learn from farmers about the way they farm and keep themselves up to date with relevant developments in agricultural knowledge.